attacking that point with dive. It's so difficult to approach.
Let's go on Discords and we keep on like picking the opposite healer that he put the Discord on and called.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Maybe for next map we do. Yeah. 30. Let's
try triple tank. Take first point.
Hey Lyris, you're muted in Discord. You're actually here and ready, right?
Yeah, and sorry, I forgot I muted myself. Rather deep, to be honest.
Let's start with Junkrat and see how it goes.
Yeah,
I like it. Bagel.
Okay.
So Boat and Lyris, just make sure you guys are watching out for each other. And then, yeah, I'm gonna be with
3,
Bagel up front.
2,
So.
1, 0. Alright. So this composition is pretty straightforward that we have here on attack. We are looking to minimize poke damage, probably build up Zarya charge, and then hit them. So for this, I might... You can either go in right away, but what I might do instead is make sure that Zarya has 80 charge and her cooldown. So you don't go in on like the first bubble, you go in on like the second bubble. That's just to give her more pressure. It does eat more time into your clock and eat into like boat mode's healing resources. So I don't know if that's super preferred. You're not gonna get through this shield super easily. But it will at least punish the shield if you're forced into it. I don't know. If you go right away, it's not that big of a deal. Likely this is going to be set up like on high ground together. The D.Va's going to go there and basically just run distraction there. You might have Junkrat like boosting into there, but mostly Junkrat's just going to come in and you're just going to kill front to back. So if you can take out like the Orisa first, that's great, and then probably the Junkrat. The Hog still takes a while to kill. You can mostly ignore him. What should happen is if he hooks anyone that's not D.Va, D.Va just defense matrixes him so he doesn't get value, or a bubble saves them. Which is another reason why you want Zarya on high energy. So she has to use bubbles, but you also need those bubbles for the fight to prevent this shit from like fucking you. Which is why I might consider going in like second bubble here and seeing if you can play like a slightly slower game without completely eating your Rhine shield.
So shouldn't need to, because both of us are pretty
So we're probably just going to go in right away, which isn't too bad.
Watch the trap left.
So we're wasting a lot of shit here already. So they're playing up here, by the looks of it. With an Ana across. Okay. In like 2 seconds you can see their comp. So if they're playing up here, what you might want to try to do... Speeding on to point is a little awkward since they'll take high ground and then they'll just drop down. I think you can do it, but I think you're likely to lose someone in that exchange. Notice how we kind of just like stopped at this choke here. This isn't really what you want to do as Lucio. I realize they're in an uncomfortable position. Instead, I might like use this time to get Zarya charged if we've already used our boost in. Hard to tell. And what I think we're going to do is like speed in, use shield and DM to get to back alley, and then attack them from here. This will, it'll be a really bad angle for them on high ground here to hit you back here, so they'll have to drop down to contest, except for the people who are on cafe, which will have good lines of sight on you. Going this way means you're under them the whole time, which could work if you're good with your defense matrix management. I think coming through here is like bad in general because you're coming out through another choke. Actually, this way security might not be too bad, honestly. You do have defense matrix and you have Rhine shield to absorb it. You are going to eat a decent amount of poke though. And your supports are going to be like trapped in here if you guys aren't playing tight. And yeah, this way lets you reset cooldowns and forces them to move. You can't go stairwell. I don't think you should meet them up here. The path's too long, you take too much damage upon the choke, and you take too much damage coming up the stairwell to even properly engage them. So this high ground is interesting, and I want to see how it plays out.
Trap,
Got it.
crashing mine down.
We have bad bubbles.
Poking shield.
Where are we going?
Yeah, we lose someone immediately because we're not together.
Pushing a point.
We don't know which way we're going already.
Point. 76
One
by
down right
itself.
now.
Alright, we're one down.
It's your Lucio, that's kind of big. Bagel just kind of swings
Mine
here.
down.
Alright,
just
so
poking
he's
shield.
not really
Right.
being healed.
Going?
Pushing a point.
You can do it without your Lucio, kind of. You can't do it without your Moira.
Okay.
I feel like we're losing a lot of
One down right
resources.
Alright, we're one down.
So they fall down, and honestly, that's probably good enough.
Yeah, back out.
Or 2 down, back out.
Yeah. Quick disengage. Seems
Because they
fine.
have the Junkrat on high ground, can we call which direction we're gonna go in? Because, like,
Yeah.
Like, standing in mid is gonna get us killed, I think. So,
Yep.
Bagel, which way do you want to go?
Bagel, you want to go left or right?
We're wasting a lot of time here.
Let's try left this time. Let's go around back.
So left all the way around back. Okay.
Yeah, seems fine.
Right? Ready?
Everyone do.
We're still a little
Okay.
split. Notice how... Who is that?
Go.
Lucio's like ahead of the team. Easy way to eat 2 rockets there.
Go left, left, left.
Seems fine
So
though.
there's one
Alright.
Juggernaut.
Second.
following behind. Nope, never mind. He's moved around.
Ooh, he's got ult already.
Tire coming from the top.
Bagel needs to back up.
Mm,
Gets 2.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just gonna happen.
Alright. So it's
Okay.
Juggernaut behind us.
Sorry, should be able to get a lot of charge,
Okay,
but
I
we
got
haven't
Junkrat,
really.
so just get out if we can. And we have spawn advantage.
I think if they're not holding high ground, then coming around back is just an exercise of futility because they get to hold that better. If they're not holding high ground, you can rotate to high ground to force them and then drop the point if you want. I just think you guys just need cleaner
So-
engages. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be pretty even.
So I will say it's kind of like it would be really rough to change your entire comp here. In that, like, you're just gonna lose like all of your ult charge here. So like I think you can go dive, but you'd be trying to like transition into dive rather
Right.
than the other way around.
I would say as soon as D.Va spawns, we could push in. And I say we push in right side.
just fine. 76 top.
So they have no...
So right now, like, look how far behind your D.Va and Lucio are. We're already like using resources like Rhine Shield. People are already poking. We're already using Moira heal like preemptively here.
No junk right now.
Pushing.
The team's not quite together.
Straight point.
So who's that on the high ground? Their soldier is that? So D.Va takes care of him.
I'm pushing shoulder.
Seems good.
We're off. Soldier's off.
Boat mode, or Reinhardt just charges himself out of the fight basically. So a lot of this comp revolves around Zarya and Reinhardt's synergy. So keeping Reinhardt up is going to be immensely important against their spam because he's going to eat a lot of it. So defense matrix to protect him and protect the line is very important. And then the damage coming out from Zarya is going to make up for the fact that you're running basically triple tank. Target focus is a priority here.
Who are we on? Who are we on? Who are we on?
We see like boat mode is safely in the back, but he's unable to actually heal for his 2 damage tanks here, which is kind of the issue.
I'm down.
We get picked off early.
Bagel, who you on?
Let's see where that
Sorry.
happened.
So reset.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're not building grab fast at all. This is our 3rd push, and we're at 70% despite all of their spam. If we were getting consistent damage in, we would have had
Okay,
it built
so
here.
that's their junk ult's down, hog ult's down. Orisa still probably has her ult.
No, Arisa
Ursa
just
just
used
used
old
it.
junk.
Did Orisa use it?
That's what they.
Okay.
That's what killed us.
Okay.
Bagel. Can you call where you're going, please?
I'm gonna initiate with tire.
Direction.
Ready? Pushing straight
go.
point here.
Going straight in.
Alright, bubbles need to be communicated more.
I'm pushing shoulder.
Alright, so we push them down. Lucio's in their face. Rez is shooting something. I assume that's the hog.
Off high ground. Soldier's off high ground.
Oh, it's their Moira. Alright, they're a little split. They're coming in with ult.
Where are we on? Where are we
Roadhog,
on?
roadhog, roadhog.
Hitting hog. Hog pant.
Fire coming in.
Problem with like pinning Hog is that he's just gonna breather it up, and now you're in the middle of the team, so they should collapse on him.
I'm bombing.
I'm purple. I'm gonna die.
Two down.
We're even.
The bomb
Soldier's
works out.
one.
We're just betting.
Soldier 1 in cafe.
Cool Pup is dead.
Everyone's
Yeah, everyone's down.
dead.
It's just me.
He didn't get out their nano visor.
Okay, so we have Shatter and I have Grav now.
Alright, this should be
So-
one. This should be fine.
Did they use Junk Tire that
It's
round?
taken us a while. It's like we. So since we lost the first two, we were down in ult economy like significantly. We didn't. They weren't close. So they've just been cycling ultimates. So it's required us to build in like our 2 tank ultimates to even get this far. I'm disappointed that it took us 3 minutes to build them.
They
They
did.
did use tire.
I did.
Okay, cool.
Um,
So we should be able to push in. I'm gonna Grav, and then we can Shatter on cleanup if we need to.
Alright, let's go.
This is
left
kind of
side
what
right
happens
now.
when
They're
sometimes
gonna
if
have
they cycle
visor,
well.
probably.
Yeah, they definitely have Visor.
I've had visor for a fight or
Go,
two.
go, 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 go now.
So like, there's no reason why Diva can't be up here helping Rondo with the enemy Junkrat. That should be like a free fight win. They're able to do that.
Come fast.
I'm
And
gonna
Ana's up there too. Like that needs to be communicated.
Grav when they come to meet us.
That's a missed opportunity. So Rondo is like, I think Rondo had the right idea. I don't think, since the team doesn't follow up on it, I think he needs to leave. So like, Diva Junkrat beats Ana Junkrat for sure.
Grabbing, swing.
She's risking a lot of shit here.
Get the Orisa,
So
get the
we
Orisa,
actually
get
get
the
a good fight. Bagel just needs to hold shield here.
One.
Rondo gets someone. He jumps down kind of dangerously in the middle of them as they staying
Down
high
on
ground.
Moira.
Nothing.
Nice shatter.
Okay.
No more
Get
ults
the
from
hog,
here.
Get the hog, get the hog.
Anna on point.
Perfectly fine.
Nice, nice.
There we go. All right.
Alright,
Good job.
seems fine. So from here, I'd probably. So second point is way different than first. Second point is very dive focused. So you can run dive as the attackers here reasonably well. As the defenders, still kind of run Orisa comps. I'd like to see this switch, these two switch, and maybe like this switch as well in regard. And then we use tire and then get out. And we use more ult and swap too to like just straight dive on high ground if we can. If Rez is playing off tank, is assuming the off tank role here, he should have probably been on the Diva because he's going to maintain that ult charge across maps. That is something to consider. I expect changes from them to play high ground
Good
contest.
follow-up on the
Yeah,
grab.
look at that shit.
I'm switch back to dive for the middle.
I actually went Reinhardt. That's weird.
Yeah.
So we're gonna struggle with high ground for that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let's
two
do it.
people
Look at
swapped
all,
during
look at
this
all
thing.
these 5 cool kids on fire right now.
I know, eh? So if you want to stick with Diva, I can just go like Soldier. That way we don't lose your ult.
Sure, that's fine.
Alright, so issue with Soldier here is that you have to walk him up the elevator. He also is going to have a hell of a time contesting an enemy Widowmaker, which you should know about since you press tab. Fortunately, they don't have much to pressure you outside of that, so you should have general high ground control because you're running both Diva and Winston, and if you can get the Soldier on the high ground, cool. They really only have Widowmaker to go up there for free, and Soldier. So, like, you should have the high ground advantage, and from that you can leverage the point.
My Miles not too important.
They have a Wither now? Wither now?
Yeah, Widow, she's on the general store, so on the right.
Fuck it, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to
Do
Widow
we
then.
want to? Do we want to switch the supports?
The Widow is honestly playing really close. You can get her.
Widow's
You gonna tire?
still.
Take some damage on approach. Holy shit. Just going in, both tanks are out of armor. Which is why Moira does not really work here.
Sec, guys.
Watch out.
Like it probably Moira Zen, or I'd probably run my own Widow, yeah, and then I'd run Zenyatta and Mercy, rather.
Soldiers up there too.
Hog on point, watch
Hog
hog.
behind, hog behind.
So their tanks are pretty free. This doesn't seem too bad.
Hog's ulting.
Hog
Soldier should
one.
be able to shred through this shit. Being full healed.
Where's the
Oh,
Widow?
Ben's low. She's back.
Yeah, you want to call
Actually,
Widow
yeah,
whenever you can.
Yeah, I want to bomb this, just to push him back.
I'm jumping the widow. I'm in a widow.
I don't like these bombs. They're unlikely to get stuff. I realize you're relieving pressure, and you are getting like a split here, so this hog should just die on point. So you aren't trading nothing for it, but it is risky in that if they kill you in this duration, especially when you're launching it so far, that you've given up
Widow dropping. Widow's
Hog's
on
behind.
600
Hog's
HP
Yeah, on hog, on hog. Okay.
to die
Sorry.
for 150.
Ryan.
Widow's below.
So notice how we're
Below.
just controlling high
She's low
ground.
ground.
Actually, shoulders low.
We have another
Shoulders
tire?
down.
That's nuts.
Ryan on point.
Keep getting Ryan. Keep getting Ryan.
I'm gonna Widow.
Ryan's down.
Get literally anyone with the tire, you're fine.
Nice
Mara,
try.
Get
Mara,
Lucio.
no fade.
Or Mora. Mora's
Lucio
fine, too.
one.
No fade, no fade, no fade. Lucio,
Lucio
Lucio,
one.
Lucio.
I'm gonna ride cart.
That's fine. Diva's here.
Alright, that looked pretty comfortable.
Alright.
So they got to
to spawn.
top line, just got so fucked. Rez should not be on ground here.
Well,
he can
shit.
be
I'm glad
holding
I
up
picked
top.
Widow.
Alright, they're still running like something fucking awkward. I don't know if they're considering next point yet or what, but like the Reinhardt here doesn't make sense from them. Because high ground is super important. High ground and alleys are what really dictates this Westworld phase. So like this just doesn't work. Sombra can work. Doesn't have the greatest high ground contest. Like normally you want Genji and Widow, or sometimes even Tracer instead. Even though Tracer doesn't get up there, her bombs and her ability to control the ground is just that good. So anytime a tank drops to ground, she just bombs them. Is kind of the plan. With ult coming out, you should know that this guy has been fighting a while, so he has that. We have almost a support ult to stop it.
Ryan, Ryan body shot.
They have a Sombra now. Be very careful.
No one cares about Ryan body shot. Don't even call that shit out. He's taken like 100 damage. Doesn't matter.
Widow's on the left.
Oh, we're gonna get
Widow.
shattered, aren't we?
I got with you.
You can see
Diva's
it.
peeling.
Oh, just one.
Ryan one. Ryan one.
I got hacked.
Ryan
Ryan
one.
one. Alright, we're split as fuck here. Let me rewatch this.
Ryan.
So they're coming out. Our tanks are not playing up, so our tanks have given them this choke for free. If instead we had like a Winston Diva playing on one side of it, we could just kind of like hold them here. That would be preferred. And then Winston ult can prevent them from ever coming out this side.
And Ryan body shot.
What do we jump?
They have a Sombra now. Be very careful.
Widow's on the left, jumping.
Alright, we jump the Widow. Okay. I kind of understand that. It should really be Rez's job to be controlling this space. And I fear like the time you've wasted here on the Widowmaker is time that like these guys are going to dominate the point and you're going to have to retake that. So I'm a little concerned about that.
I got with you. Diva's peeling.
Oh, you got her like immediately. Seems fine. But now we have a situation where like the healers are stuck trying to fight on payload and get to their tanks. And Rez is fine by himself, honestly, but like this is a little awkward.
Ryan one. Ryan one.
I got hacked.
If these tanks could drop back and kill this Reinhardt, that'd be
Ryan one.
perfect. Bring us back together. That hack was unfortunate.
Ryan lit.
Winston's, I think, spending too much time here just fucking with people who will not care.
Literally one. Okay.
They just need to
Ryan's
be
down.
team fought.
It's even. You guys.
Takes
well,
way too long for them to get over there.
Diva's low. Diva's low. Diva's low. Nah, shit. Of course.
Tim.
We got some ults.
Alright.
Yep. I can initiate with Widows. We have sights. Ooh. I almost got their Sombra there.
Thank you.
Their Widows have.
I would definitely sights here.
Alright, we gotta go.
Yep. You guys go. There's sights.
You can't touch, can you?
Widows down.
No.
Oh,
Oh no. Yep. Ooh.
Should you been able to?
We got some ults.
So the last person
Yep,
dies
I-
at 22.
I can initiate.
There's the Lucio. Maybe Lucio
with,
has to touch.
Widows. We have sights. Ooh. I almost got their Sombra there.
Thank
Yeah, we definitely waited and spawned too long.
Their widow's half.
Alright, we gotta go.
Yep, you guys go.
Yeah, too
Shot.
late.
That last
Okay.
part is I don't know.
Yep.
What DPS are we playing here?
The usual dive lineup. Dive defense is actually pretty good for us. So we just
Okay.
play back. Yep.
You know,
Run dive
Yeah,
defense.
up there.
Seems
I mean,
fine.
there's a health pack back there.
We'll be playing kind of left side here.
3, 2, 1. Okay. So let's consider what's going on with the comps. We're running a Junkrat with an otherwise dive comp. Seems okay. I expect the Junkrat and the 2 supports to be holding Cafe. Spam lands come across Tire is your eventual win condition. There is the issue that if Winston and Diva see something they want to jump, the Tracer already has to be flanking through basically alley to like accomplish it. I'm not sure how much I like Tracer on this first point. Yeah, you control back alley, but if like the entire team goes up there, you have to kind of separate. Regardless, flank routes are pretty, excuse me, predictable. I think Genji has a slightly better time of it. A Tracer can work pretty much anywhere. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm more concerned with like this attacking team comp. Sure, you have the poke from these two, and they're going to be mostly together, and you have this great tank synergy. But like, the only one behind Ryan's shield is really the Zarya, with Lucio as well. But like Lucio can get these people in, but this Mercy is going to be forced to heal these tanks because they are by definition taking a shit ton of poke upon entrance. Their tanks have really low healing overall. So if this was like a Moira instead, that'd probably make more sense to me.
Okay, there.
And you would kind of like really fuck this with like an anti-dive setup. If you're running anti-dive, like Orisa Hog or whatever, you have like a McCree, a Discord, and a Mercy to keep these two at bay. And then you have Junkrat, Hog, Orisa to like fuck this Reinhardt. And force him to take infinite damage as you kited
They got
backwards.
Farah.
Tracer's coming around alley. So run. Run Zarya. Watch the Tracer coming around the right.
So where are our dive tanks playing?
Scored Farah.
I don't
Nice.
really see it.
Play sites. Yeah, they're going.
We're like poking as Diva like way the fuck back here. Just random. The Farah pick makes it so us playing here is awkward, but I still would try to hold there for as long as possible. Us using bubble here is like really
Hang
bad.
behind
Tracer
that.
line in cafe.
Fair half.
Nice.
Is
Fair
that-
one.
So Winston jumps in the middle team without bubble. That should blow him up. But they don't have high damage right now.
Pushing. No shield.
Farah, she's in.
Fair
with
going
me.
into cafe.
Okay.
Fair just comes into
Fair
cafe.
half.
Lucio one.
I'm on Farah. Fair's down.
Nice. I'm on Ryan.
Mercy, 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 mercy.
Mercy, mercy,
Don't let
mercy.
the res.
Or at least get her killed, yeah.
Alright.
Ryan's one.
On Zarya. Zarya low.
Sorry, no personal.
There's
Good
a Farah
calls.
on me.
The Farah got rezzed.
Nope, couldn't get Farah.
We have Tire.
You
Ooh,
guys
that's
are
greedy.
short, but we might be able to make it back.
So the only one on this team who could even contest the Farah was unfortunately the Diva. So like, yeah, their entire ground team died, right? Pretty much, but like, the Farah is slowly going to take over this map, which is a problem with this composition. That's why you normally see like a hit scan here. Normally it's a soldier, sometimes it's a McCree. This point, Cafe is like close enough to this point, where like the short distances benefits kind of the what's it called? Stun, the flashbang. And since you're more likely to run the Mercy with a McCree as is, and then a soldier where you can maybe just run the Lucio zone. And you want the Mercy for the second point for the Widowmaker. So considering that, I'd probably run a McCree here. Trying to go from there.
I would say back off point.
We can give mid-second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys can disengage or we can re-engage.
Good idea. Do we have ults to do it?
Over there.
Okay.
One. Alright, I'm here.
I just touched a bit.
Scored far.
Farah's dead.
Pushing it.
Tracer on left.
Rez is not in with his monkey,
They got raised down.
but we have ultimate to make up for it. We do feed a bit of ult for it. We're using
Scored
Tire.
Zarya.
On Zarya. Zarya's by herself.
Sorry. No shield on her.
Sorry,
Good
sorry.
tire.
Heals.
Oh, fuck.
But if the D.Va mech's gone,
Zarya
this
down.
far
I'm
is
on right.
fine.
Oh boy.
Far down, seems fine.
On right.
Blink through him.
Ooh, yeah.
Damn.
Zarya's low. Zarya
Good
very
recontest,
low.
guys.
Zarya.
Get the Zarya. Nice jump.
Nice. Oh,
I'd very much consider switching this comp though. If Rondo can go back and swap onto like Soldier or McCree before they regroup, that might be preferred because
oh my god, dude.
otherwise
we
you're
held
just kind of
that.
playing against time. Yeah, that was good.
That was a really good re-engage, by the way. Lucio's left side.
So what you can not only just call positions because they're pretty much just going to be in this box until they regroup. What you should be doing is considering like what ults they have. You probably don't know the status of their graph, although you can suspect since Zarya's been killed that she should have it by now. You should suspect a graph. And it's not unlikely that she builds it this next fight with the Junkrat spam. I don't know if you guys been tracking this, but you saw these two last fight. So you should really expect like 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 next fight. You doing okay? Did he get fucked by RNG? Okay. So what do we have this fight? We have Bomb. We should be looking to use Bomb early. We want to use Bomb on something like take this Reinhardt immediately out of the fight if we can. Take this Arya out of the fight again. And then push in with our advantage so that we can rebuild Bomb or rebuild Tire and have time to build Trance.
Okay, sorry, we've been calling
Have
over.
we built Trance? Is this our first Trance? It is. Yikes. Okay. So our Zenyatta has not been doing much.
That was a really good re-engage. by
Like
the
that's
way.
almost entirely passive, isn't it?
Lucio's left side.
That's not good
Okay,
at all.
sorry, we've been calling over boat again. Let's try and.
Scored far.
This could
I
fire
have mech
some
back now.
spawn. We have mech back.
Tracer's right side.
So where is our Winston? We need to save these rockets for when we're actually on a target. Like if we have these rockets and this Pharah is discorded and their like team bubble is down, we can just boost onto her and kill her. You can do it like through the Mercy even without the discord, but you still need the rockets for sure. Winston is forced to not play with high ground. Maybe he's supposed to just like sit back by boxes. Not really sure. But he hasn't taken a lot of poke, so that's good. Boat mode is already fucked.
Scored Tracer.
Alright, so we trade support ults. Shatter's useless, seems fine. Cool Pup is low.
Not well yet. Scored far. Point.
Alright, notice how the tanks are just on enemy tanks. It's gonna be a bit rough.
On Farah. Farah down. Who next?
Got one.
Ryan.
Zarya, we need to kill Zarya.
You're always gonna say Zarya. Like, Rez just loves saying target Zarya.
Zarya before she builds Grav.
It's too late.
Far's back up.
Zarya discorded.
Fortunately, you didn't camp the spawn, so the Rez gets off. Which is your big concern.
On to Zarya.
She's
low.
one. Nice.
Ulting.
Watch point.
Oh, that seems fine. Reinhardt can
Even
die.
if we burn, if we're just burning time here, that's fine. Die on point.
Bo, if you're calling, I can't hear you.
Alright, I was.
Ooh.
Okay, that's probably that. Alright. Let's take high ground.
I'm getting tired and swap to McCree.
Vic, can you peek? I can't go up to you where you are.
Alright, so McCree seems okay in that it'll counter the Farah, so long as they're not running dive themselves, McCree should be fine, but like McCree has to sit here. Or like basically on top of them. He doesn't do super well with high ground in that high ground often puts him in his fall off damage range. Meanwhile, Widow is back here and can't beat Dove. Just, you can't do it from here. So, Widow is definitely preferred if you're comfortable
Okay, we're
playing
gonna
it.
drop as soon as cart passes this point.
They just,
Tracer coming around.
I guess they're
Somewhere
run
on
out
our
of
left
steam.
side.
Okay, Winston.
Just stop the Tracer.
ready to
What is the
drop.
Tracer doing? Oh my god. Tracer just nopes out of there. That's hilarious. Yeah, you don't have a McCree.
3, 2, 1, drop.
Who are we on?
Who are you dropping on?
Scored Zarya.
Mercy. Mercy, she popped off.
Nah, Farah got me.
Farah. Farah
dead.
Discord. Farah.
I'm done.
Where's Farah? Oh, I'm on her. I'm on her. I'm on her.
Alright, so at least we're fighting
I'm on
on
her.
cart. So we'll get
She's
another
one.
contest here.
Alright.
Yikes. Okay. So Rondo was never actually able to end the fight.
Are we resetting?
We probably should, yeah.
Down payload.
Okay.
So that's Feral.
Okay.
and Dolphin.
So we'll get another fight, even though it's a little fucked.
Oh,
Just,
who has orb for me, please?
Wait, Bagel,
Don't-
wait, Bagel, you're
don't
by yourself.
engage yet. Don't engage.
Oh, he used bubble. I guess he was forced to. We'll be close to this.
Okay, you can re-engage now if you want.
Alright, so we didn't leverage high ground there with any DPS there, so we never got a favorable engage. We instead, we dropped onto them, which is what dive wants to do, but their team is like, there's no really good dive target right now, so it's not like you're killing anyone really fast. The Zarya bubble is going to be enough to prevent people from dying right away, and you're going to just take Rhine and Farah hits in the meantime. So generally what you would want to do is follow up with like either a Genji poke or Widow poke or a Widow pick, you know, or get it started with a pulse bomb, something like that. We didn't see that here. Rewatching this again, we saw we just dropped on them. So
Tracer
here comes
coming around.
Tyre. We're down a person now, mind you.
Somewhere on our left side.
Okay,
Tyre was used.
Winston,
We're
you're-
swapped. One in spawn.
ready to drop.
Who are you dropping on?
Alright. 3, 2, 1, drop.
Who are we on?
Who are you on? Don't know.
Scored Zarya.
Mercy. Mercy.
Like, you're not gonna get the Mercy with the Pharah there, she's just gonna fly the fuck away. Even without the Pharah there, your, what's it called? Zarya here was in a safe, flighty distance.
Yeah, she popped off.
Nah, Farah got me.
So right now, I'd probably just disengage. You burn Valk, reset. You drop down, so you should still have your
Farah,
cooldowns.
Farah.
Said do we ever jump at all as Winston?
Who are we on?
Scored Zarya.
There's the Winston.
Mercy,
Oh, then he does a short hop. Okay, so he's
She
fucked.
popped off.
Nah, Farah got me.
Farah.
Diva can get
Farah
out
Discord.
though. Farah discorded.
Farah.
I'm done.
Where's Farah?
Completely lost track of her.
Oh, I'm on her.
Farah's
I'm on her. I'm on her. I'm on her. Yeah, I'm on her. She's one.
Honest Discord. Farah. Farah
dead.
Discord.
Is she one?
Farah.
I'm done.
Where's Farah? Oh, I'm on her.
Farah's
I'm on her. I'm on her. I'm on her. Yeah, I'm on her. She's one.
Honest Discord.
She's half-ish. Yeah, okay.
Alright.
That's fine. Dirty Res Remix.
Are we resetting?
Only to
Yeah.
die again. That's so much ult charge.
So that's Feral and Valk. Walk down as well.
Okay. So you saw how like we didn't meet any of our dive triggers. There wasn't anyone out of position. There was no one who couldn't be peeled for, and there was no one who either couldn't escape or wouldn't survive. We got them to blow some cooldowns, yes, but like, just not a good fight. Did we lose ult economy on it? We lost bomb. We traded one ult for two, but they built more in that
Okay,
time.
you can re-engage now if you want.
Diva.
Tracer left.
Fine.
Farah
So who are we jumping?
low. Farah low. Okay, you can
Was she low?
re-engage now if you want.
Diva.
Tracer left.
Fair low, fair low.
Fire is never below 70%. And there's no one to really follow up with.
Fair.
But we get a nice opening pulse bomb, and so now all this damage is likely to stick. They're going to beat in response. 100%. You know they haven't grabbed. Like, they didn't grab first point. So this lady's been holding
Right
grab
side,
on.
right side.
There's
Ladder.
the beat. It's the re-engage by Winston during the beat. Don't know if I agree with that.
Zarya next. Zarya. Get Zarya next.
Sorry.
She's one.
That is a good trance. That's a
Okay,
juicy
still on
trance.
Zarya. Still on Zarya.
Sorry, done.
Sorry, dies in the trance. Fantastic. Alright, so here you're going to slowly clean up the fight. The only thing that changes this is maybe a pulse bomb. But I don't really think so.
Nice.
Lucio.
Just don't C9, you're fine.
Help me.
Where is Lyris and why does she need help? She's fine-ish. Boat mode is a bit too far forward, but the lines kind of got blurred here.
Lucio's half.
On the
Lucio
Ryan.
down. Ryan.
This is all fine.
Ryan one.
So she should keep the orb, or boat mode should keep the orb on the tank so they can pressure safely, while instead, Mercy is the one healing Rondo.
Nice.
So Rondo gets high ground here. They only have one thing to leverage it, and if you keep 1, 2, 3 on high ground, Faros should have a hard time ever doing anything.
Again with the good recontests.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay,
good.
let's try and get high ground again.
Everyone's high ground. Boat mode missed the elevator. That's okay.
Yeah, it's probably a good spot, Zen. Just don't let, like, if
Oh,
they
I
come
was
after
gonna-
you, just make sure you run. Oh, you're coming up high ground too. Okay, good.
Alright.
Perfect.
I have to take the elevator.
Okay, they're coming left side.
So Mercy, McCree stay high ground. Tanks drop and then jump back up when they're in danger. So for this fight is different. Like, you're dropping down more to contest than to jump onto someone. There's no one to really good to drop onto, so you're looking to cycle between tanks to stall the cart for as long as possible. And you're waiting for your McCree to get value high ground, or for a Tracer Bomb to come in, both of which work. We still have another fight after this, if you are to hold this. So we're not trying to blow everything, but I think we can commit probably High Noon, because no one cares about High Noon, and Valkyrie to sustain them on point. Using both our tank ults for the next one.
Discord
I'm with you.
Discord Far is good. If you can't hit the Far, discording the Mercy is just equally as good, and honestly should be prioritized after she drops here.
On, who are we on?
Farah. Farah's half.
Good. Nice pickup. We Valk here. Fantastic. They're still looking to grab. Grab is still their win condition.
Mercy.
Everyone drops on low ground. That's disappointing.
On, who are we on?
Farah.
So Bo gets blasted here. Oh no, he does. He's high ground.
Farah's half.
He just decides to drop. That's unfortunate.
Mercy.
McCree joins him. That's also unfortunate.
Mercy back line.
I'm on Mercy. I'm on Mercy. I'm on Mercy.
And we do a quick high noon.
Nice.
Lucio
I'm on
next.
Ryan.
Lucio.
They have not grabbed here.
Zarya next.
Zarya low.
Okay.
Nice job, Ryan.
Run.
They'll have another fight.
Nice job. Woof. Good job.
Alright, so our goal right now is to set our hit scan back up on high ground. We need to build another pulse bomb. 100% we need to build another pulse bomb, and we need to pick that Zarya soon.
Tanks, one thing. Do me a favor. It's fine if you guys contest point, but jump back up if you get low.
100%
Like, watch
agree.
your own health.
Use mobility to get back to your Mercy.
Value, so it,
Yeah, that's actually something we need to work
Up
on.
I
here.
saw someone going around far left.
Yeah, they're going far left again.
Yeah.
There's the
Bagel, I'm
Tracer.
gonna let you touch first, and then when your jumps back up,
Discord Farah. She's half. Farah's
Tracer
half.
up top. She's gonna come across from the other
Contesting.
building.
Jump back up when you need to, Bagel.
I'm on Mercy. Mercy's 1.
Good cycling.
Dub.
Excellent cycling.
Ryan's discorded right
Oh, he jumped back onto point, so now he's fucked. And he's completely fucked. We build the pulse bomb, which is fantastic. I'm not hearing the Discord
now. On him.
calls. And we've dropped as McCree, I think.
Mercy and
I don't see. Oh, yeah, Rondo gets knocked off. What happens here?
Mercy.
Ryan's discorded right now. I'm on him.
He gets pushed up by Rez. It's unfortunate. If he can stay on this upper railing, it should be fine. He drops even further down. Not too good. Cool pups here on the
Mercy
side.
in the bar.
We build another trance, that's huge. It's a really shitty graviton for them then.
Sorry, sorry.
Do we hold this? Yikes. Okay, we can win through that. That seems fine.
Okay.
Oh fuck.
Who are we on? Who are we on?
Ryan,
back.
Ryan. Ryan's half.
Right on.
Yep. On Ryan. On Ryan.
Mercy next.
Tracers uncontested too long. Oh, that's gonna
Nice one.
kill.
Nice.
Zarya,
That's
Zarya.
gonna kill no one?
Alright, Zarya's down.
Lucio.
Tracer on me. Any help?
On Tracer.
Yeah, you're fine, fine.
On Tracer.
Tracer.
Nice.
Nice.
Alright. So we tank cycled with Mercy hit scan on high ground that they never contested because they never got off death ball. We invalidated a whole bunch of their ultimates. That was nice. Trances came in clutch times. We valked well. Sometimes we left high ground as hit scan, but like that second phase was nice.
Yeah. That could,
I'm not hearing like the target calls well, so like sometimes we were just kind of dropping onto point without like focus. When the objective there on by so if I can back up to a good portion of this, when we were dropped down like over here, we didn't have a win condition. We didn't have the McCree there like gaining value on high ground the longer and longer we stayed uncontested with a hit scan with a Mercy pocket. But when we jumped down here, suddenly it didn't matter if our tanks didn't do anything but stall the payload. And that's kind of the difference. So like both times you would have preferred like the tanks being able to like properly land on someone important, but since that's not the case, you can just do like the dive stall indefinitely, and that was nice.
Ryan.
Zarya.
Really impressed.
really good. Put
Correct in
On after.
cool. But
Right.
I do
Now we're on this map.
specific.
Some-
It's not.
Alright, so let's discuss compositions. This is a weird as fuck comp. I don't understand what exactly. No. Okay, I kind of see where they're going with this. So let's talk this first. Defense is mostly anti-dive. The issue is this is not Zenyatta. There's no point to have Lucio here. If like as soon as the payload gets here, you're gonna rotate this way. There's no need to speed anywhere with your Orisa. You're just calmly going to reposition yourself. So like Zenyatta is much preferred. Yeah, pretty much everything else for this just Zenyatta instead of Lucio. I realize he swapped Grape in for the other healer. That's fine. He does play Lucio better than Zen, or at least has more experience on it. This is pretty standard. Widow is good the first 2 points. It's not as good the third point. So first point in Dorado is very deathball heavy. We'll generally see an Orisa sort of shield comp set up here, and then they'll rotate to this opening and make their life hell here. Generally, or we see like dive defense. What they do in general is say like there's a Mercy, Widow, Zen on high ground, dive tanks here, Tracer maybe here. They drop down to contest and they cycle contest for a little bit as the Mercy and the Zenyatta heal them up here, They just stall payload and wait for people to get value. This is quickly pushed off, just due to distances. And that these guys are generally running dive to follow them up and punish them further. First this is taken away, and then the Widow here contests the Widow here. So this Widow is forced to fall back to the end of first point at gate. And then we have a mini game there. So this is traditionally dive versus dive, although in solo queue you also see death ball versus death ball, or in every combination thereof. Second point has to be dive, though. The high ground is too important there to ignore. There's no major choke to get kind of blocked on. We see a lot of Widowmakers. We see a decent amount of hit scan. We see tracers. You know, if we get to it, we'll discuss it a bit more. As for the attackers comp, Pharah is typical-ish here. Obviously, the higher you go, the better the Widowmakers are, so this isn't as easy to pull off. But if you can get to this choke here, there's a lot of great angles here for Pharah. She can also do some scouting here and really play with, like, amongst these buildings. Zarya here traditionally means there's a Reinhardt, but this is kind of awkward, and that we're going to have a shit ton of shield cooldown, and the Zarya is going to have problems finding someone to build charge off of unless the Orisa shield is taking that much damage. Will it in this case? It might. It very much might. Bastion here is cheesy. No need to mention it. And they do now have like double main healer, one for the ground force and one for the air force. So
Bastion?
they have a Bastion.
What's some shit? Who's shot calling?
Just break shield, focus on shield break.
Yeah, focus shield.
Not me.
My shield is
Goodness,
fucked.
They're running, yeah, they're running the Bastion.
low.
Yeah.
Alright, so we already should have rotated. So now they're gonna get the edge here, which is the issue.
We're gonna need to rotate.
Rotating.
Yeah.
Holding.
So the issue with the Bastion here is that like this little window here that connects here, he's going to be forced to look forward at the tanks here on the ground, and perhaps a Junkrat coming through that area. So that's kind of the danger.
Choke.
Now the fire here might prevent that.
Oh man.
I see the late rotation is going to force them out
My
here.
shields are melting.
This is low.
Nice.
Let's get the Bastion next.
Bastion's alone.
Bastion has no
Bastion
shield.
low.
Let's get him.
I'm jumping the Bastion. I'm jumping the Bastion.
Bastion, Bastion. Pulling, pulling.
He already has ultimate.
Fuck, he already got ult.
I'm trying to DM. I'm out of DM for his ult.
2 ticks. I don't know how you managed to res me.
Huge
Tire.
Fire still around. Or,
Sorry,
Zarya.
Where's in the back? Can I stay together so that I can heal everybody?
Well, I want to watch that again. So I'm pretty sure you guys were dead here. But Rondo gets the Pharah somehow.
Oh man, my shields are melting.
Where the
This
fuck
is
is their
nice.
Pharah?
Rotating. Holding choke.
Alright, the Orisa has a really bad shield here,
This round.
which leads to her death
Oh, man,
here.
my shields are
Okay,
melting.
This is low.
I missed
Nice.
that.
Bastion next. Bastion has no shield. Let's get him.
I'm jumping the.
So they're down one, and we got their Bastion low. If we can push in with speed boost here, we're likely to take the fight.
Bastion. I'm jumping the Bastion.
Bastion, Bastion.
We don't do it well enough, and this halt fucks
Pulling,
us.
Fuck, he already got ult.
I'm trying to DM. I'm out of DM for his ult.
Rondo plays this well. Alright, this res is not necessary. I probably would... The tire saves this.
I don't know how you managed to res me.
Turns out the Valk not needed, because the tire was that good.
Huge tire. Fire still around. Or, Zarya.
Where's in the back?
That's nuts.
Can I stay together?
I didn't
so
see
that
where
can
the
heal
Widow was
everybody?
this entire time.
Around. Or,
Oh, she's on gate. Okay.
Zarya.
Where's in the back?
Not really gaining value. She doesn't have infra sight. So she hasn't been hitting her shots too
I'm on
much.
point currently.
Can I get a top off in the back?
We should push up a little bit to the choke if we have enough people.
I don't have a corner to climb up to.
So Mercy's not healing the
Sorry,
Widow.
They're off Sebastian. They're on Tracer now. It's Tracer Farah.
Where?
I'll have Zarya.
Sorry, ask
Oh,
for a
pause.
top off.
Pause. Pause.
Pause.
Hey, Bagel. So that there's not like space.
Not everyone sees, but just say, then just say.
Oh, I'm on Archway.
Fight is.
You should know where your Widow is. Like, that should not be a surprise. Alright, so this is what takes so long. Do. Oh. They lost their Zarya charge, which I don't think was very much.
So
They
could
stick
Widow
on
get
the
a top off
Zarya,
on our
which is
side?
weird.
And left side, I need help.
Tracy's going up the stairs.
Yeah, they're going around top.
Mercy's one.
I'm on monkey.
Watch the Widow or the
Mercy
Tracer
down.
runner.
So this is kind of weird. They dive really beyond. I didn't really get to see how they did that. Just overcome the window. So there's like a snag there. Don't know what that's about.
Watch the Widow or the Tracer.
So I'm not really gonna get to see this, but that Winston is dead.
Fire down. I need heals.
Completely dead.
You went on the corner.
I don't mind the beat, I guess. It was really only your Widow low, and you seem to be winning the fight anyway, so it's probably extra.
Yeah, it was.
Go down to Lucio.
But you were down your Mercy. Yeah, so the beat's probably safe.
Tracer on the right.
Let's get this Zarya. She's kind of out of position and low.
Yeah,
Nice.
good call. Bad halt. Whatever. So I didn't really get to see the setup for that fight. They seem to be trying to come over this wall again.
Yeah,
The back with
behind us.
Widow.
Top.
So this fire should be able to get scouting information on
Yeah,
you.
Tracer does love.
You guys now have... You still have the Orisa.
Sneaky crouch stuff, but
Alright, you see kind of the issue that they don't have anyone really good to dive on your
Like
team.
they have a diva now. They dropped the Zarya.
This is why the Widow for the attack is kind of important. To contest the enemy Widow and to force the other team to actually, like, care about something.
I think 3 of them are gonna come around this wall. That's my
So
guess.
right now their
Good.
only chance is to flank, and they're taking a
Wild
long
choke,
time to do
choke.
it.
Pretty
Yep.
choke.
Nice
Shot is
shot.
main.
She's a body shot.
Are coming in?
Here comes the Farah.
Pushing on the Steva.
I'm back on the
Oh,
Winston.
get out of here. Winston's there too.
I'm on him.
Go in the back.
I'm coming back.
Winston
I'm on Winston still.
Got the Mercy.
So they have the right idea of harassing, but they're sending like the wrong characters. As soon as Winston jumps, he's stuck there. If they had sent like a Genji instead, that
On
could
fire.
work.
Fire above fountain.
Good fire.
Whoa.
Nice.
Someone's behind us. Tracer.
Me?
Tracer in a recall behind.
Grab that insta, dude.
No healers. We don't have any healers.
Is Rondo gonna carry this fight too?
We're all dead.
Push. Let's stay and wait for spawns.
Still one of them.
Alright, Rondo
That Rondo,
dies.
I took
They
it
have
first.
5 or so.
Shit.
Sari's forced
I'm
back.
I'm contested.
I'm gonna go
They're
in
gonna
and
contest
collect
here,
spawns.
and that's gonna take a while for them to no longer contest. Ooh, they could really use Valk here.
In a Mercy. Mercy low on the left.
I'm on Moira.
I hope.
I have no
So now the fire is uncontested.
Tracer. Tracer in a recall.
Winston bought a lot of time for them.
I'm done.
Valk comes late. Wow, you get off that res, that's insane.
Nice.
Nice.
Yep. Healing on point.
Deals with
We were too separated. Sorry, guys.
I mean, ult in a sec.
What is this lag?
1 point.
Tracer behind. On monkey.
Monkey low, monkey low.
They're just pouring everything they have into this. I hope.
Winston's already up top.
Alright.
Back up.
Alright. So Bagel swaps to dive. Seems good. Junkrat is not going to be good here. At all.
Close.
Tire and swap if you can.
I like.
The sightlines, yeah, you get poked down on it, but you have, like, if they were Deathball, maybe you get to do something with Junkrat. But this point is so heavily hit scan focused.
Like the Winston switch. I was gonna suggest it.
Winston's already up top. You guys got him.
So he uses shield on. He's not gonna be able to do much there. Their soldier has to take the long way around. Knowing that. We don't really have anyone who can watch it. If you had like. If Rondo was on Tracer and Tracer just like camps this stairwell to prevent them from sending their soldier up there, and keeping the man down, then he could call out those flanks. But yeah, this is a very Widow dominant point. But soldier makes a good impression if they're not running one, if they're not running their own Widow.
Try to do the Winston
Retire
Diva
now,
stall
seems fine.
cycle here if you can.
Forcing a Diva.
Ooh. So their Tracer gets him.
Suck.
Diva low.
In the back.
Res.
Test.
Diva D-Mac.
He's out of mech. Oh, watch ult.
Coming back.
I'm jumping down towards point.
Nice visor.
Tracer's behind us.
On Diva.
Diva.
Chance to heal you.
Monkey. Break monkey.
We didn't need to Valkyrie. So like we're up 3 because Visor gets 3,
On
right?
Diva.
Diva.
We're up 2. We're up 2.5.
Chance to heal you.
Monkey.
Yeah, we were fine here.
Break monkey bubble. Get the
There's
monkey.
no reason for our soldier to have dropped, I think.
That's
I
fine.
didn't see how he got dropped. Maybe he was forced down.
I'm jumping down towards point.
Nice visor.
Yeah, he gets
Tracer's
booped.
behind
Okay.
us.
Yeah,
On Diva.
that's unfortunate. Our tanks are cycling well. That's good shit.
Chance to heal you.
Monkey. Break monkey bubble. Get the monkey.
Oh, angry monkey.
That's
Throw
fine.
ult if you can.
Tracer behind.
Oh, the Tracer gets behind.
Okay.
Oh.
Tracer's still up there.
So we've lost control of high ground now that both of our DPS have gone to the ground. So this sort of like contest swapping isn't going to work anymore. We're still on Lucio instead of Zenyatta. I also think it's unfortunate. I would definitely prefer Zenyatta to contest their Pharah now.
Yep. Winston's still
I
there.
got stuck.
The body block on the Diva to prevent her from getting away from that. It's hilarious. So right now we can kind of just regroup on high ground, retake it, and then recommit.
Give it a mech again.
Targets.
Down. I'm on point.
There's a Winston
But Bagel's
and
stalling,
Tracer
so-
in the back.
It's perfectly
Really
fine.
hard in the back line.
We recollapse on backline shit.
Come on, Winston.
Good.
Winston down.
So right now we're not really looking to do very much. We need to set our soldier back up on high ground. Rondo needs to
Tracer's
swap.
heavy.
He swaps to another hit scan. Seems okay.
Behind.
Yeah, let's not all contest cart while there's like backline attacks.
Tracer down.
If we turn around and focus Winston, I think.
So Sorry needs to be on high ground if he can. Could he? He could be on like this high ground, I
We
suppose.
can burn her down really fast.
Go ult for the 3 of us
You
so
need
we
help?
can keep it up. There's a few of them here.
Beat for aggression.
Bear on the right.
We didn't really use that beat that well.
Focus Winston, I think we can burn her down really fast.
We get down the Tracer.
Go ult for the 3 of us.
We use it for basically just Bagel's benefit, because he was the only one who was in need of a heal.
So we can keep it up.
And we don't aggress with it. We just kind of sit here. In fact, we're still on healing. Like, if we had instead, like, aggressed in, we would actually make use of this speed.
Fair on the right.
And it keeps Bagel up, but he wasn't in real danger.
I'm pressuring the far.
And it doesn't allow the team to aggress anymore. So now Bagel and Diva are split. I assume this is going to result probably in Farah's death, then Rez. And then, what's it called? And then Diva's mech being destroyed.
Far is down.
Nice. I'm on
Get the monkey, get the monkey. I'm gonna get demacked.
Yeah, so they use ults here. So now the enemy team is like in a position to kind of win the fight. It's going to be up on this visor, but it's going to be on the low ground. Oh, they lost their Farah. There's the res.
Give him mech low.
Their monkey has no ultimate, so his jump in is poor. Where is our soldier? Our soldier is just caught here on the side. Soldier's not going to have a great visor.
Monkey's low, nice. Far's
Their Farah commits to it.
by herself on the left. Mars
Okay.
over there too.
Seems fine. It would have been way better on the high ground.
Right. I don't know my directions. Tracer's also going right. She's in the building.
Yep, she's about to make it right now. She's coming around behind us. She's in the bank.
Yeah, keeping track of the Tracer now, who's going to be the one who's able to
No,
contest
she's
is
going
important.
back to cemetery.
Is that cemetery?
Please turn point.
So she touches, recalls, seems fine. Their Winston's likely to get ult here. They're going to Valk in response to keep everyone sustained.
Sombra.
Hacked.
Focus on bringing bubble. Come on, monkey.
I'm on Tracer.
Good bomb. We Valk in response, seems fine.
Nice.
Neither of our hit scans took the opportunity to set up on high ground again, which is kind of disconcerting. It would have meant that we had better safety against their, like, both their better safety for our Mercy, who no longer has to play on the ground with the hit scans and has somewhere to actually jump to. Better contestant that we can like cycle again, better sightlines, and would prevent the Tracer from getting to you as easily.
Break bubble.
Very useless.
Yeah, that was just a bad bomb. No reason to do that.
Ulting.
Generally, you don't want to go for those sort of things.
Number one.
Zarya.
Sorry, not personal.
Get the Zarya.
Okay.
But it was overtime, so Zarya should just die. Zarya needs to die. Zarya has a
Zarya
shit ton
down.
of energy. Yeah, you guys are gonna clean the rest of this up.
Tracer.
The head. Bro, it was wild.
Alright, let's discuss attacks. We're running Soldier Modified Dive. What is my issue with this? Well, first point, Soldier's not going to have good lines of sight here to do very much. Especially against, like, Jesus Christ, what are they doing? That looks like hell to play against, by the way. As soon as I see what they're running on defense, I immediately swap this to fucking Farah, and I just wait for the Farah to just kill every last one of them. They don't have a good amount of sustain. They have two, like, off healers almost. In order for Brigitte to, like, get any sort of value, she needs to be constantly swinging. If you can deny that with the Farah and range and just never jump into it, fantastic. There's no one good to jump here outside of maybe the Zenyatta, but like Brigitte has such good peels with both her 6-second burst healing and her 2cc abilities that it's going to be very, very difficult for you to find the proper setup without poke. So in general, the soldier would want to find value before committing his team to a jump, and he's going to go poke on them. That only really applies in like the diverse dive matchups. Against like a Ryan shield comp, he doesn't have the opportunity to really do that if he doesn't have the high ground control and the good angle to. So he's not going to be able to do that. For that reason, this should either be like a Widowmaker trying to get picks and split the team, or like in this position it should just be Farah. Tracer as well could do it. Although Tracer doesn't want to play against these guys too much. Like, yeah, the Zenyatta is not that big of a deal. But, like, the Zenyatta will mean that the Junkrat is more lethal. The Junkrat starts to one-shot. She's fine against everyone else. There's nothing for her to do against this character. Tracer does not want to see this character on the enemy team. Her like combo does like 160 something, just like one shots the Tracer. If executed well, the Mei can randomly just icicle you in the head. So that's what I want to see them to recognize that the soldier's just not going to do anything
Spam
when we get to
comp.
this choke.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a spam comp.
And a Brigida?
Who's gonna heal us to the spam?
They got a lot of shit.
Brigida. Oh, that's cheating. Sorry.
So what you could do here is dive. If you were running, if you're running tracers, like anticipate the rotation and have the tracer set up here, which is what I like to do. And then you harass them from the back the whole time as they're trying to like focus on choke point. So you just have like a tracer back in this area, controlling like this space, while you have like the payload pushing here and disrupting them here. And maybe like your Widow or Genji poking from like up here, and then they eventually break.
I don't think I mentioned it.
So we're looking to take things slowly. They have like shit healing. We're eventually going to wear their shield down. We're going to get a really good poke off.
It's alright.
Then we can commit to something.
I'm going up there to... I got chopped up here. Give me up if you can.
Alright, so we're not looking for really like a great contest. We're just looking to get value elsewhere. Instead, we're going to brawl it out. Which might work because they have shit healing.
Ryan's low.
Yeah, but they have protection. So Ryan dies first because he charges. So we notice the only reason why that worked, and we're probably not going to notice it in the middle of the game, is that they use their burst healing from this character on someone else. And even though they kept Ryan up with like a Zarya bubble, it just wasn't enough. In fact, they used it on the Mei. Don't know why they used it on the Mei. Was Mei even low?
On you. It's healing as much as I can.
No. Mei was perfectly fine. So a bad Brigitte heal pack maybe. Why is she so far back? That doesn't make any sense either.
Just keep poking.
Ryan low.
Ryan's low.
Zarya's shield down.
Ryan's charging. Alright, cool.
I'm frozen on point. I got shielded 4. Pushing.
Discorded if we can kill her.
Watch tire.
Yikes.
There's a wall in the way.
So we stayed too long here in this choke, letting them get value on their other characters.
You guys should probably back out.
That's the problem. Is the first time they use Brigitte ult, suddenly a lot of their characters that are alive become unkillable through dive. Like you can't dive as Zenyatta with all that armor. It's gonna be problems killing this person with all that armor. Yeah. This is what I've been scrimming against, and it's not fun.
Almost.
Not quite to this extent. But
I'm dead.
Alright, win condition here is Blade before you like die to the next thing. No one really cares about Diva Bomb. They have a lot of ways to like prevent that from doing anything.
Who's ulting first for defense? Probably you, because it's faster.
I'm gonna get high ground here.
We're not flanking.
Guys.
It's kind of an issue.
We're
still on Soldier.
Zen's at the cart by himself.
I'm gonna save
That's dangerous.
trans for grab if I get it in time.
Alright, Monkey should just die here.
Yeah, there we go.
I couldn't eat it.
I'm so cold.
Call targets.
Ryan's down.
Alright, if they don't change something, they're just gonna get full held here.
They should still have trans.
I got caught into that. There we go.
One.
So it's grab.
Why did we trans? This fight was over.
That's male.
Across behind us, if we can kill him.
Right there.
Junkrat's down.
Are we going to be able to turn to 3v5?
Oh my gosh. That thing is so far.
Discorded?
May no ice block.
Nope.
No, it's other team. They're still
You guys are walled in. Let's focus the Mei first. Get out.
Get out, guys.
That's a huge issue.
Man, tired.
Do we need to search something up for this last
What are we targeting first? Because we haven't really focused anything down.
Yeah, it's I mostly agree with that. It's hard to find someone to routinely dive here because they're gonna be playing in such ranges. And instead of like being like, oh, it's this guy, go. What you need to do is slowly whittle down their resources. Genji's the only one who can really do it. And play it like a split here. Maybe Sombra could do it.
More healing. See if
But I
it
think
works.
we just need to adjust the comp. Like, I don't think the healing is necessarily the issue. I don't know if Moira really does it. Because you're not looking to brawl against the enemy composition. They have a lot of ways to prevent you from getting, like, the crucial piece of damage here. Between the Zarya bubbles, the shields, Mei's entire kit, Brigitte's entire kit. Like, you just need to play you just need to play a completely different game. Like, orthogonal to what their
Zarya's
their
pushed
game
up.
plan is.
Zarya no personal. I'm breaking Ryan's shield.
Instead, we're kind of still fighting them
Back
head
up.
on.
Breaking Ryan's shield.
Breaking their shield could work. Seems fine to me.
Ryan should low.
I'd follow with
Ryan's low.
Discords in.
You're by yourself, Bagel.
Oh, he's gonna get frozen.
Bagel, ult. Help Bagel. Help Bagel.
All target.
Zarya's charged.
Trapped. I can't go up to you.
Trans.
I think I ate. No, never mind.
There's the male.
Ryan's
Wait,
down.
wait.
I got frozen.
Shit.
Thankfully, they're burning tire on their one fight.
I got
We're burning visor on this.
Maze down.
Chuck right down.
Center.
Diva bombing.
Center left. Center left. Stinger. I'm on the Zen.
Brigitte with no.
That Zen is going to take forever for Winston to kill. He only deals 30 damage a second, and that Zenyatta has... What is that? 250 health? 260?
And Zarya on point.
Look how long he lives. Well,
Make sure
Send
Zen
down.
actually get him. Cool.
Brigitte's on me.
Are we going to win because of
Brigitte's down.
spawns?
I'm on Ryan.
Okay.
Ryan.
I'm happy with that. And
Ryan
we have
down.
a better comp for second
Zarya's
point.
on right.
And they do.
May.
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 Ice block down.
Surround her. She's gone.
Is she?
We have a
Yes, she is
Doomfist.
She got
Seems
moved
fine.
Way in the air.
Lucio.
Scrim. He's one. You could.
What are they stalling for? Alright.
Alright, get high ground.
Alright. So they go Reaper this point. And stay on their death ball, which doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. They don't have any range whatsoever. They're going to eat a shit ton of poke, and they're completely conceding high ground.
You guys don't have ranged healing anymore, so come down.
Yeah, you could make your healing actually be useful on this high ground portion of the map.
They're still on Ryan. Ryan's probably gonna have Shatter.
Yep.
Yep, there it was. Oh, the card saved me.
Oh, nice.
I got stuck. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you
That's
drove
fine.
into them.
We were all stuck next to the cart. There's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah. It was...
Like Widow or Pharah. Telling you.
Alright, I gotta get pissed back.
No, Tracer's on point.
We don't do anything differently.
Right.
Does Doomfist make sense here? Not really. No. The team needs to like collectively like wear them down because they're really low on resources, and none of them really replenish or can be adequately like interacted with. So like, Doomfist is just gonna solo shit, and you can't get on high ground with him anyway. So.